Well, hi again, everybody. Welcome to another episode of 100 Yards of Football, and this is the SEC preview, the last official week of the 2025 season. We'll be kicking off here shortly. It's Wednesday evening. Tomorrow is Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving. We used to have games that were played on Thanksgiving, but the NFL took it over, and there's only going to be one game. Vincent, you and I both talked about this a minute ago. It'll be Navy against those Memphis Tigers, and I'm not going to call them the name that some of your family members are really upset with me. They are the Tigers, and we're going to call them the Tigers, and good luck to them. But Friday, all bets are off. There's one NFL game, but it is loaded with SEC action. Saturday, of course, will be the culmination of the season, and so many interesting games there. Let's get right to it. We're going to start with Juan Daniels, former UGA Bulldog and unofficial scout for the Auburn Tigers right now. Juan, welcome to the show. And then we've got our founder and co-host Vincent Turner. Gentlemen, start your engines. We've been doing this now for 14 weeks, 15 if you count this one, and week 0, it doesn't matter. I'll start with you, Juan. A lot of things to be playing for right now, and even if your school isn't playing for a heck of a lot, there is so much that the SEC as a conference is riding on this weekend. Rivalry week for you means...
Wow. I mean, it means everything. And, throughout the record books, throughout the stats, this is just, hey, anybody can win on any given Saturday when it comes to rivalry week. So it's what an exciting week. This has a lot of things on the line, playoff implications, just bragging rights for your state. And it's wow. That's all I can say.
And a kick for recruiting. Let's not forget that all these guys they've got just a week or two before that first round of the recruiting. The high school players can sign a letter of intent. Vincent, you have the great luxury of being from Tennessee and getting to watch the Vols and even Vanderbilt and other close action nearby. You don't have to go very far to be at Starkville and see the Egg Bowl and be a part of that. We'll talk about that in just a second. But also at Arkansas, the rivalry itself means more to some folks than others for obvious reasons. But still, it's such a cool part of the game of college football, and the colors, the flags, the pageantry, the bands, everything that's a part of it. It all comes to a head this weekend.
No question about it. I mean, back in the day when I was growing up, it meant a lot. As football in the South is a little bit different. When you got in-state schools having these type of rivalries, you can go back to the Alabama-Auburn game, punt, Bama, punt. 1972, Bill Newton blocking 2 punts, David Langler taking it in the end zone. 1982, one of my 2 friends out of my neighborhood played on the Tennessee team. They went to the Peach Bowl, but they lost the last game of the year to Vanderbilt. They had a pretty good quarterback by the name of Whit Taylor. They retired as a big-time principal in Chevyville, Tennessee, at Vanderbilt. And Vanderbilt ended up 8-3-1 that year. How ironic that this year they got a record that they're going to be probably play if they win that game going into the college football playoffs. And then, of course, at the end of the year, Arkansas playing Texas. And, man, one of the greatest memories, and this was why I probably ended up going to school, 69, Richard Nixon flying in on a helicopter in Razorback Stadium. You can go look it up on YouTube. Texas #1, Arkansas #2. And that game ended up with James Street scoring like 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. Texas winning that game and going on and winning the national championship. So it means a lot. So my final words are, it's an old saying that we used to do in the neighborhood when we used to go back out in the disco era. The roof is on fire. Don't let the water burn. You know they said the other word. Back to you, Mr. LaBelle.
Yeah. They got some other words. You can't. Not on this show. We won't do it. Hey, Juan, it's a shame that Vincent can't remember anything that took place when he was a kid. You know what I mean? It's just
exactly. He doesn't have a great memory.
No, with that gray hair, you got the ability to look back and remember some things that some of these young old whippersnappers wouldn't know anything about. But the Egg Bowl is one of those things that they better know about, and especially this year. There are a lot of reasons to be paying attention to this one. It's in Starkville. It starts on Friday at noon at Davis Wade Stadium. Ole Miss is 10-1. Mississippi State kind of struggling, 5-6 overall, but it doesn't matter. Throw all the records out. There are going to be some cowbells. Man, what a thrill it would be. I don't know if you got your hand on the upset button yet. It's a little bit too early, but just play with me. We hypothetically, just for a second here, if the Bulldogs and Mississippi State end up pulling out an upset and win, and it would be an upset for me. There's not going to be a goalpost on any high school stadium within 10 yards. They're going to tear every goalpost down just because they can. They're going to be thrilled out of their minds to be able to take Ole Miss out of the playoff, or at least out of the high probability that they're already in. Juan, so let's start with you. Give me your thoughts here on this one.
This is going to be a very interesting game. Right now, there's just so much about where's Lane Kiffin going? Is Lane Kiffin invested in Ole Miss? And as a player, that's a big time, huge distraction. What's going to happen? Are we going to go, to the playoffs with this guy? Or, what's going on? Does he care about us? And Mississippi State, they're licking their chops. They're just saying, man, what a great opportunity for us to not only pull a big time upset, but take advantage of a team that may be a little bit distracted. It's at home. Like you said, the cowbells are going to be ringing and they're just going to be going absolutely insane. What a huge monumental win this would be for Mississippi State. They went from being irrelevant last year, 2-10, to now, picking up Shapen. I think he's going to be dialed in, and it's going to be wild in Starkville.
They're 5-6. Let's throw one other motivating factor, if you want to call it that. They go 6-6. They're bowl eligible. They have every reason to play well and to do some things that didn't work earlier in the season and kind of make some corrections. They had 4-0, 5-0, something like that early on in the season. All of their losses are in the SEC. They only have one win in the SEC, and to get a second one, obviously that'd be a huge boost for them, for recruiting, for team morale, for bowl eligibility, and for being able to say we're state champs, regardless of how good Ole Miss is. Tell me where I'm wrong, Vincent.
No question about it. I mean, that's the most important thing right now. Mississippi State, you win that game, you 6-6, you bowl eligible. Blake Sharpen is a decent quarterback. He has a decent year. But what worries me about Mississippi State, they defense and let them down over the last 2 weeks. They gave up on 300 yards against Amon Hardy 2 weeks ago. Now to my people in Ole Miss. I really like to be surprised, and both of you gentlemen can help me here because y'all former players. You got the hottest name in college football right now. They talking about cash the bank, 90 million. And I wonder what's going on in that room right now. And then he gonna make the decision whether or not he's gonna go to LSU or Florida. It's even rumors now that Tennessee Titans and the New York Giants are involved in the mix. And you got a team, regardless if they lose this football game, they're going to the college football playoffs. So my thinking is, where are the young men at Ole Miss where they had so much of a great season, Trinidad Chambliss and Quan Lacey? What is they thinking right now? And then if Mr. Kiffin leave, who will be the next coach in line to take his place and lead this team in the playoffs? Will it be a former dog and Joe Cox? Hello, Mr. Daniels. Will it be Mr. Joe Judge? Hello, a former New York Giant. It's so much intrigue around this football game. And I'm glad they playing it at 12 noon on Friday. Because one thing we know, I think all of us can agree here and look at Harper with his strong face. Colorado State got a new head coach today. Is that Lane Kiffin is going to be gone? Back to you, Harp.
Well, if he is gone, it wasn't much of a secret. They sure tried to keep it as long as they possibly could. I don't like the fact that they waited till after the game to have a press conference to see whether or not he's going to say.
Yeah, I mean, again, either way, this team has to know that they're playing their last game with Lane Kiffin. So is it going to be one of those things that, hey, they're going to give it their all to say, hey, coach, we appreciate you, we love you, thank you so much for putting in us in this position? Or are they going to be just kind of angry and just kind of like, you know what, this guy brought us here just to kind of let us down? So again, they just have to fight through those distractions. If they can fight through those distractions, like I know they will, because Ole Miss is a really good team, really great offense playing against a porous defense, I expect them to come out and absolutely dominate.
I'm glad you said it the way that you did. I was going to ask that we go back around and we did the hypothetical on Mississippi State first, but let's be candid. You're not the number 7 team in the country for no reason at all.
Absolutely.
You can score at will, you can stop people, you can make them punt. You can do all kinds of different things at the SEC level and the national level that is very rare. And I love the deep crossing routes that they run. Their receivers are amazing. There's 3 or 4 of them that will play in the National Football League on Sundays very soon. Um, I I just don't know how I react to this distraction if I'm a player. I think if Lane, who got them there in the first place and got him to stay and got him to believe, is now going to say, I took an offer that Mississippi didn't even give me an opportunity to match, and I'm gone. I don't know how I'd feel about that. I'd really struggle with it. I really would. You're gone? Why? You're doing something here, and you're saying you'd rather be there, wherever there is, and that may not even be your dream job. So that's my personal feeling. Juan, where am I wrong in terms of just personal feelings as a former player?
Yeah, I mean, that's one of those things. Again, you think about the off season, you think about the blood, sweat, and tears. You think about even being recruited by Lane Kiffin, and you go and you follow him there. You give him your all, and obviously their all has gotten them to where they are. I mean, close loss to Georgia, or they'd be undefeated right now, probably in the top 1, 2, 3, of college football.
Yeah,
And again, you know why would you want to be invested as a player if your coach, the guy that led you there, is not really invested? Their foot is out of the door. There's a almost a 100% chance he's not going to be there to coach him in the playoffs. He's already got to get out there, start recruiting for his other team. Other players are like, hey, am I going to be able to transfer with Lane? If not, I mean, am I good enough? I mean, there's so many things that could be going through a player's mind right now. Again, you're dealing with 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old kids that, again, they pour their blood, sweat and tears, and you don't even know if, you know for a fact that your coach is not going to be there.
yeah, it's so interesting. You mentioned Georgia just a few seconds ago. Let's go look at our second game. We've spent enough on this one. By the way, the Egg Bowl will be at 12 o'clock, Davis Wade. It's on ABC. At 3:30 on ABC from Mercedes-Benz Stadium here in Atlanta. Georgia at 10-1. They're the number 4 team in the country. Will be taking on their arch rival, number 23 ranked Georgia Tech. They're 9-2. They've kind of fallen apart. Vincent, I'll start with you. Tech has had some issues over the last couple of weeks. Doggone, if they win against Pitt, we're talking about them as an automatic participant. 2 teams from the state of Georgia getting a chance to be in the playoff, but that was not only a big loss in terms of their overall standings, but what does that do to their confidence going against the Bulldogs?
Like I say, it's back to a rivalry sort of type thing with Georgia Tech because Georgia Tech has so much to play for. And to be honest, let's be real here on the set tonight. I was shocked the way they lost to Pitt. They were down 21 to nothing in that football game, and I could not believe it. But they had been kind of tearing that line because they didn't play good defensively against Boston College. Don't get me wrong, they got a great player in Haynes King, probably the player of the year in the ACC from an offensive standpoint.
Yeah.
But now you're going into this game, and really, if you're not playing for the college football playoffs, let's be honest, you're going to a bowl game, that don't really mean nothing to me personally. No disrespect to you two outstanding gentlemen. But let's be real. Georgia Tech was playing for bigger and more. And they had the hype going Saturday. The game was on national television on ESPN. And be honest, you came out and laid an egg. That's plain and simple. Now you're going to a Georgia team. I'm going to say it one more time. So people don't look at me crazy today. I'm picking Georgia to win it all. Yes, I am. I think the Bulldogs got the best coach. I think they got the best QB under center. Gunnar Stockton is played out of his mind. If anybody tells me in the next 24 hours they saw Gunnar Stockton playing at this level, I tell you to your face, you're a bold-faced lie. Now the offensive line is getting going. Nate Frazier. I said every time Georgia steps on that field, offensively, all defense, they got the best player in Zachariah Branch. He is a game changer. C.J. Allen, maybe one of the top linebackers in the country. K.J. Bolden. This is a team Georgia is going to roll on Friday evening. And Mr. Daniels, even though his baby plays for Auburn, look at that face right there. He going to be smiling way back and be able to call them Yellow Jack alumni. Not today, Daddy. We still own you. Ugga. Back to you, Hawk.
Okay. Well, Juan, he didn't call us liars per se, but he says he's been calling this one now for quite a while. That Georgia is stout. Every time that they dress, they impress, and they do so on the field. As a former Bulldog, talk a little bit about the game itself, and then just talk about this year's team and how there's so much more for them that they have set as a goal to achieve. This will be a nice step and the rung of the ladder to get there, but they've got more work to do.
Yeah, this was it was an interesting game. Fortunately for me, for the 5 years I was at Georgia, we always beat Georgia Tech. But it's really cool because a lot of the times, you end up playing against guys that you played in high school, or you play against some of the top recruits or the top people that were in the state of Georgia. So the game does mean a lot. Of obviously, it's bragging rights to say, hey, Georgia Tech, you're our little brother. And and as of late, Kirby has treated Georgia Tech like their little brother. They had a really good shot last year. They were up 17-0, but it just kind of just tells you the mindset of Georgia. It tells you the mindset of Kirby. He's going to have his team prepared. They have to withstand Georgia Tech's push. They're going to push because they're basically thinking to themselves, if we win, we're in. If we come out there and fight, we're gonna win. But after seeing them struggle against a really terrible Boston College team, getting absolutely blown off the map in the first half, especially against Pitt, I just see Georgia just coming out here rolling. They're on a mission, and I think that they are catching fire at the right time. Kind of reminds you of Ohio State last year.
Yeah, I agree with just about everything you said, and I wasn't paying attention to everything, so I'm going to lie to you. And like Vincent called me a liar, because I was really focused on how good they are right now and how much of a problem Tech had against lower grade opponents. If Georgie gets the ball first, if they win the coin flip, I'd want the ball and try to stop us. But last year's game is another reason that I was thinking, gosh, they went to 7 overtimes. It was one of the longest games ever. It was, you just never know, do you? You just don't know what's going to happen. You can predict it, and if you're lucky to be right on most of it, good for you. But generally speaking, I don't think anybody thought that Tech had what they had in the tank last year, and who knows what they have this year.
Yeah,
No,
it'll be interesting. They're going to be ready for Haynes King. They were not ready for Haynes King last year, and then I also just kind of told the tale of what they were going to face against Notre Dame, and they struggled against Notre Dame, who runs pretty much the same offense that Georgia Tech ran. So they're going to be prepared this year. This year for this game. They've been probably had it marked on their calendar because you could best believe Georgia Tech had it marked on their calendar, and you wondered, did Georgia Tech just kind of overlook Boston College and Pitt to try to get to this game and then just basically just save everything for this game. So they're going to come out. They're going to come out swinging. Again, they really probably feel like, hey, if we beat Georgia, we have an opportunity to play in the college football playoffs.
Yeah, there's a lot at stake. Vincent, you were going to say something. I interrupted you. Go right ahead.
no. Well said, Mr. Daniels, and you, Mr. LaBelle.
All right. Well, two of the bigger games of the three we've already discussed in Ole Miss and Mississippi State, Georgia and Georgia Tech. The third game here on Friday, the day after Thanksgiving at 7:30, also on ABC from Austin. You got the undefeated 11-0 Texas A&M Aggies against the 8-3 Texas Longhorns. Vincent, why don't you start by giving everybody an idea what Steve Sarkisian has to say regarding Texas. If they beat A&M and end up going 9-3, what does Steve think is going to happen for his Longhorns?
Mr. Sarkisian, former quarterback at BYU, top assistant at USC, former head coach at Washington USC, stated plainly yesterday, hey, if we beat A&M, we should be in the college football playoffs based on the fact that we beat an Oklahoma team that Michigan is over us right now. So they should get us in regardless of what we have done. And also, we beat Vanderbilt also. But I say to you, Mr. Sarkeesian, pump your brakes, man. You lost to Florida. Enough said. Don't matter what you do on Saturday night. You just playing for pride. And finally, Arch Manning, the hype is back up. Everybody's saying now Arch is the best quarterback in the country. What he did against my Razorbacks last week, 18 of 30, 389 yards, 4 touchdowns. But again, my only, I would say, concern or key point I want to see from the game. A&M, you got to finish the doors. Go undefeated. Marcel Reed has been outstanding for y'all this year. Mike Elko, kudos to you, man. The 12th man finally it's gotten to where everybody thought that program could be. Because let's be honest, gentlemen, at this time, A&M has a habit of losing big games in November. Everybody expects A&M to slip up. Don't look like it might not happen this year. This is a real good football team with a real good football coach and an outstanding player from Nashville, Tennessee, and Mr. Marcel Reed. Back to you, Hawk.
Juan, they're third in the conference in scoring with 419 points up on the board. Only Vanderbilt and Tennessee, who will be playing each other. We'll talk about them in a second, have more. Defensively, they're kind of the middle of the pack, but there's nothing to be ashamed of if I'm an A&M fan. They've got a good team, and for crying out loud, they score almost 100 points more than what Texas did. They both gave up right about the same amount. So defensively, Longhorns win against Arkansas last week, but A&M's defense is not the same animal. And for a lot of reasons, they're number one because they are playing defense at a much higher pace than just about everybody else in the conference.
Well, I'll tell you what, their defense is pretty solid. But, Steve Sarkisian and that offense, man, they are tough. And I'll tell you right now, Texas right now is better, I believe, offensively than Arkansas. And Arkansas hung 42 points on Texas A&M. So
Okay.
that's a little bit concerning. And then, of course, you look at, what Texas is going to do defensively. I mean, yes, they went and beat, Oklahoma as well as Vanderbilt. And those are two very mobile quarterbacks that make plays out of this world, kind of like Marcel Reed, and they were able to corral those two quarterbacks. So you could best believe they're basically going to keep Marcel Reed in the pocket and say, hey, you're going to have to throw the football in order to beat us. We're not going to let you run around and do all those things that you're used to or accustomed to. We're going to stand up and we're going to play some defense. And you can best believe this game right here is for Texas pride. Texas A&M is probably looking at Texas like, you guys don't belong in the SEC. You shouldn't be here, and we're going to show you why. But this game right here, I think is going to come down to the wire, and I would not be shocked if Texas were to pull this one out. So this is going to be my soft upset alert.
Ooh, your hands on the button.
Yes.
I like it.
Yes.
Hey, guys, think of something else, because as a guy, if you need to earn enough brownie points or house credits in order to be able to spend your entire day on Friday. Now, if she's out shopping or doing something for the family or fire herself, I get it. But from 12 noon to the kickoff here at 7:30, all on ABC, you don't even need to change a channel. You don't even have to hit one of the kids to go change a channel. Get up and change a channel. Like back when we were younger, we had to do that. We were the remote control. But you got to paint the house. You got to do the dishes. You got to do some laundry or sweep the stairs. What do you got to do in order to earn the brownie points to be able to spend most of the day on Friday watching all the games that are from an SEC perspective that are on there? Anyone got any other tips of things you can do to earn the brownie points?
Well, for me, I'm coming down with a little bit of case of COVID, so I'm going to have to probably, be quarantined and be in the room. And
You feel, scratchy. Yeah, you'll scratch your throat there.
Scratchy throat.
Yeah. I thought maybe 4 years ago that's a no-brainer, but now that'd be a great one to pull that. COVID. Yeah. Oh my gosh, you haven't even had the flu.
It's back.
How about you, Vince? Vincent, what do you got?
Hey, just make sure the night before Thanksgiving you do all the chores that need to be done. Help with the clean the dishes, cleaning the house, making sure mama, I'm talking about the wife, she's all right. Because you're going to tell, I'm going to say, hey, look here. I'm going to be locked in this room watching these games all day long. I don't want to be bothered. And I might go get me some eggnog with that brown liquor. Because it's going to be some good. It's going to be some good football on, man.
There, or you may just hand her the keys to the car and go. You go Black Friday shopping. I'm not doing it. All right. Well, 3 great games that are going to take place on Friday. And Saturday, it begins at noon with Kentucky and Louisville. This, for obvious reasons, is one of those State of Kentucky classics. This is at L&N Federal Credit Union Stadium in Louisville. Cardinals are 7-4. Wildcats have really struggled this year, but if they win this one, they are also bowl eligible. They're 5-6 right now. Juan, we'll start with you. You've seen Kentucky. What are your thoughts here about the Wildcats going to play in Louisville against the Cardinals?
Kentucky is the biggest Jekyll and Hyde team that I've seen this year. They go out there and absolutely punish Florida, and then the next week just absolutely get obliterated by Vanderbilt. So you just never know what you're going to get. Same with Louisville. Louisville, I mean, they started off hot. They had Miller Moss that's coming in. He was hot, thinking that they were going to have an opportunity to play for an ACC championship, and then again it just kind of fell apart. So this one is just kind of a pick'em game. Normally Louisville dominates in this one, but it just depends on which Kentucky team shows up and which Louisville team shows up. So this will be interesting. It's really a coin flip for me.
Yeah, Vincent, Kentucky is 2-6 in the conference. They're done. Obviously, this will be a non-conference game, but points for, points against. To Juan's point, 276 for, 276 against. It's you don't know what you're going to get. They could get blown out. They may be blown out, but nonetheless, they're playing for not only state pride but a chance to go to a bowl game. Your thoughts on this?
I'm gonna start with Kentucky, like Mr. Daniels said, they're a heck of a jive team. But most of all, you gotta understand this: in the middle of the season, we thought Mark Stoops was gonna get a pink slip. Obviously, he's reared the ship. That win against Florida was very impressive a couple of weeks ago. They got a lot to play for, a bowl game, and like Mr. Stoops is gonna keep his job. Louisville, to me, has been the most disappointing team in a long time here on the college football record. Gentlemen, have we forgot that they beat Miami in Miami? They were 7-1. They was walking around the field. Jeff Brom was rumored to be leaving Louisville. He can have any coaching job he wanted. And after that, they lose to Cal. After that, they lose to Clemson. Then they get blown out to SMU. Okay, Louisville, to all you Louisville fans that was hollering at me on social media, now you want to talk about basketball. Back to you, Harper.
Just thinking the same thing. Yes, they'll go to a bowl game, but you know what? They expected so much more when they were 7-1. And again, you mentioned that Miami game, so many other big games that they had, but all for naught. They're 7-4 right now. They do have a chance. 8-4 is a great season, and especially if you get a chance to beat Kentucky, that'll be one of those thrills that they have for them. But watch out for the Wildcats. If you get the one with the horns, the one with the nails coming out of it, it'd be a tough game. Next game we're going to look at, obviously, for a lot of playoff implications in the past, but certainly not this year. Williams-Brice will host Clemson, 6-5. South Carolina is 4-7 going into this one. Are you a little surprised with that, Vincent?
No question about it. Come on, gentlemen. Get the smiles on your face. Before the season started, Clemson was rumored to be a national championship contender. South Carolina was rumored to be a team that could sneak through and play in the SEC championship game and also be on a national level. It's been a disappointing year in South Carolina, man, with both programs. What do you want me to start? Do you want me to start with South Carolina or do y'all want me to start with Clemson? Okay, y'all want me to start with South Carolina because y'all know I love Shane Beamer. First of all, Mike Shula was a failure at the offensive coordinator position. Then Lonnie Tinsley, offensive line coach, got fired. Lenore Sellers running for his life. And I knew they was in trouble when they lost to Vanderbilt early on in their home field 31-7. Now back to Clemson. Man, they kind of reared the ship a little bit. They 6-5, but it's been disappointing. I mean, honestly, with Clemson, whoever watching this show, I'm sorry. Because the Clemson faithful, you talked about Cade Klubnik was a top 10 quarterback going into the 2026 NFL draft. You got two defensive linemen, T.J. Parker and Peter Woods. Even now, gentlemen, they still rated in the top 25 prospects going into the draft. Avon Terrell, A.J. Terrell's little brother, starting cornerback for the Atlanta Falcons. He's in the first round. Then you got that elite recruit named Sammy Brown that everybody wanted. It's been disappointing there in Clemson. And Dabo, for a minute, the sound bites of him week in and week out going against the media, it's must see here TV. So at the end of the day, I don't know which side to take this game, But I can say, as Mr. Hopper LaBelle said, I guess it's state fighting rights, bragging rights, however you want to put it. But it's been a disappointing year in South Carolina. Back to you, Hop.
Yeah, Juan, it sure has. I think more so for Clemson fans to not know whether or not they've got what it takes to be able to get back in that national prominence and to be spoken of so highly that they have by the general media. Your thoughts here? Are they one step away? Are they one really solid quarterback away, or is there too many holes in the dam right now to ask for repair? Because we haven't talked about Clemson all year long for obvious reasons on the SEC show, but they haven't had anything going on like the consistency they've had over the past 5-6 years.
Yeah, to Vincent's point, this is just disappointing. You know, we talk about preseason. You're talking about Clemson, who was almost a guaranteed ACC champion, and then you got South Carolina, who was probably going to get to the SEC championship based off of their records last year. You got two high-profile quarterbacks that were picked to go in the first round with Cade Klubnik, and then also you got Lenora Sellers. And then for them to be where they are right now, again, it's just disappointing. South Carolina, especially defensively. I mean, this is a team that had Alabama beat and then could not finish it. They also had Texas A&M 30-3 at the half, and you end up losing 31-30. So just disappointing all the way around. And you look at this game. It's right now. You're just it's for bragging rights. You got Clemson, who's probably fighting. Obviously they're bowl eligible to go to probably like the Dairy Queen Bowl or something very small. And that's not Clemson like. It's just really not. So again, a disappointing game. And I don't, the allure, the hype around this rivalry this time, this year is just not anything that it used to be in the past.
Yeah, certainly different in many, many, many different respects. And thank you for pointing that out, guys. Let's talk about the next game that we've got. Memorial Stadium there in Norman, Oklahoma. We'll see the 9-2 Oklahoma Sooners. They're 5-2 in the conference, going against another disappointing season, LSU Tigers. 3:30 on ABC. This was supposed to be one of those bigger games, but obviously the wheels fell off at LSU. They've lost 4 games, and they weren't expected to lose more than maybe 1 or 2. Vincent, we'll start with you. OU is for real. They win this, they go 10-2. They're in the driver's seat for whatever they want to do. I think they control it. But if they lose, what are the ramifications if LSU comes out with a victory?
What I can say is this: Boomer, Sooner, they're gonna win this football game. And you know what? They're gonna be in the college football playoffs. Brent Venables has done an impressive job, man. Let's be honest. The last month they went in the Neyland Stadium and beat Tennessee. They went to Tuscaloosa and beat Alabama. They didn't do it offensively because John McTeer's been banged up. They did it with defense. And as I said before on this show, looking at their defense over the last couple of weeks, people start coming down from all over the area of Oklahoma. Scott Case, the Salmon brothers, the Bars is coming out. They've been playing hell of a defense, man. Kip Lewis, one of the best linebackers in the country. Now, gentleman right here, Mr. Juan Daniels, saw that up close and personal. Now you get a healthy John McTeer, they're going to roll in this game against LSU. And I'm going to tell you this, I wouldn't want to see them in the college football playoffs. Not me personally, because I think this, if McTeer's healthy, their quarterback, I think this could be one of the most balanced football teams that they have outside chance of winning it all. Make a long story short, they can play with anybody in the country. Now to LSU, what more can you say, man? It's been like, I want to say Drama City. The governor getting involved, selecting the head coach. Brian Kelly getting fired in the middle of the season. He want all his money. He's not going to take the buyout that LSU is going to give him. Garrett Nussmeier, who we had rated as the top two, one of the top 2 quarterbacks in the 2026 NFL draft. I've seen him fall all the way down into the middle of the second round. And what's so funny about this, LSU spent more money than anybody in the portal or any SEC school in the offseason. So right now, all I can say to the Bayou Tigers is this. I hope y'all got that package ready for Lane Kiffin, because then LSU will be back where they was over the last couple of years. Remember this about the LSU job, which I think is the best job in the country. I'm just being honest. Y'all might disagree with me. They've had three different coaches win national championships in the last 30 years. That's saying a lot about that program and that talent in the state of Louisiana. Can I say Malik Neighbors? Hello, first round. Can I say Jamar Chase? Hello, first round, the top receiver right now in the National Football League. Joe Burrow, if he can stay healthy. Hello, he did get the Bengals to the Super Bowl in his second year. Brian Thomas with Jacksonville. Hello, first round. That's the job right there. Back to you, Mr. LaBelle.
Juan, one of the things that impresses me about Oklahoma's defense, they've given up 154 points. They've scored 300, so you're just 8 points away from that being a 2-for-1. But offensively, that 300 that they've scored is not all that impressive just for the SEC. So the offense is just a little bit above average, but their defense off the charts.
Yeah, their defense is fantastic, and for them to go and basically stop a really good Alabama team. I mean, they turned Alabama over 3 times, and that's not an easy thing to do. Ty Simpson is playing at a high level. Alabama's just always historically has been a good team, so for them to go in there and do that is fantastic. This game right here, you're going to have two great defenses. Unfortunately, LSU does not have the offense to even come close to matching against a stellar defense. And to Vincent's point, I think Boomer Sooner rolls in this game.
Yeah, they've kind of struggled all year. They've only scored 249 points. They've given up 203. 203 is a nice number from an SEC level, but the 249 and offensively, I don't think they have enough to be able to get it done either. 7-4, LSU travels to Norman. They'll take on the 9-2 Oklahoma Sooners. Again, that game is at 3:30. Another 3:30 game. This will be of interest, obviously, for Vincent with Tennessee. So I'll start with you, Juan. Let's begin with Neyland Stadium. Number 19, Tennessee. They're 8-3. They're 4-3 in the conference. They take on number 14, Vanderbilt. They're 9-2. They're 5-2 in the conference. Normally, this is a reversal where Vanderbilt, if they were ranked, would be much higher or further away from the number one spot. But Vandy at 9-2. I still think there are folks that don't necessarily believe in them right now. But what a great victory if they're able to pull one out here when they go. And it won't be an upset because they're probably favored. I got to look at the spread here just a second. But all those seniors that they have that stuck around, the guys that transferred in, one of the best teams and one of the best groups over the past 4 years that Vanderbilt's ever had. Juan, your thoughts here on this one?
Clark Lee's done an excellent job with this Vanderbilt team. They're going to be ready to play. This is going to be one of those Wild West shootouts. This one, I take the over. It's probably going to be a 59-56 type game because Tennessee can score at will. The same with Vanderbilt. They're going to be able to score at will. Can Tennessee corral and handle Diego Pavia? I just don't see that happening. But at the same time, Joey Aguilar is going to come in there and just throw all over this Vanderbilt defense. So it's going to be high scoring. This may be one of those games that it comes down to who has the ball last. And if Diego has the ball last, Tennessee's going to be in trouble.
Yeah, just look, the latest line that I've seen is 65.5. So they're expecting the defenses to just be going, I don't know what we're going to do. All right, so don't tell me about every single Vanderbilt Tennessee game since you were 4 years old, but tell me what you think about this one right here. This is obviously one that in terms of the history of this rivalry, this is one of the more important ones because both teams are ranked so highly and there's so much on the line between the two of them.
Well, of course, I got to say a little bit. See, Hop, we ain't from
No, you don't. You don't have to go there. You do
no,
not
no,
have to go there. You're choosing
no.
to.
No. Calm down, big guy. So we not fortunate and blessed to be from California in your days when you had the Trojans out there and winning everything. But I'm not gonna go back to the old Tennessee and Vanderbilt football history. I'm gonna get right to the point since you want me to do, Mr. LaBelle. But remember that we're not royalty like you back in the day when you had USC and y'all went out on championships. Get a little man some respect, my man. But I'm gonna get to the game right quick. Um, Tennessee 8-3. They're out of the college football playoffs. Joey Aguilar's had a great year. There you go. I got to give him a lot of love. He said Vanderbilt supposed to be here. They win this game. To me, they're in the college football playoffs. Can you imagine right now? We're talking about Vanderbilt an academic school, even when you graduate from there, you still gonna be able to get a six-figure job. Can we honestly think we're gonna be here with this program? Like Juan Daniels said, Clark Lee, you are my man. Graduate from Vanderbilt. Much love to you when you got that program at. And much love to you, Harper, for you telling me Harper made the key point of the year. He saw him play up close and personal. He said this to me. He said, Vincent, they got 20, how many, Harper? 21,
21.
21 graduate players on their squad. Think about that. That's a lot of kids that played a lot of football, a lot of kids that took care of their business, and a lot of kids that believed in what Mr. Lee was preaching. And the quarterback told y'all at SEC Media Days back in July, we both to be here. And I did not think they were going to be here at 9-2 playing the state rivals to get into the college football playoffs. And not only that, they are a very serious, dangerous football team with their young man under the center. Diego, I want to say this to you, man. Go on, lead college football. Don't pinch him for another year. Come on, man. Come on. That's the only thing I say. But kudos to Vanderbilt. I think they're gonna win the football game. I really do. No disrespect to Tennessee. I got a lot of, heritage there, a lot of skin in the game. No disrespect to you, Mr. Joey Cleanscales, because I know you watching this tonight. But I think this Vanderbilt team is special with a very special player under the center. And Mr. Juan Daniels saw him play up close and personal, and he can tell you that. Back to you, Mr. LaBelle.
Hey Juan, does it mean anything from a academic standpoint when you're already graduated and you might be taking some master's classes or doing something like that, but you don't have that same pressure on you for the football season? Is there a difference where you get to play a little freer, you get a little more time that you get to rest instead of having to go to study hall or work on a lab or some of the other things that you need to do to graduate? Is that a factor at all?
Oh, it's so freeing, because a lot, if you're an undergrad and you're still trying to get your degree, you are required to be in these classes versus if you're a graduate student, a lot of things you can take online. Ashton's taking classes online. He doesn't even step on campus. So after practice is over with, he just goes back and he, just hangs out and chills, studies his playbook, does different things, takes his online classes. So playing as a graduate, I mean, it's so freeing, and you can really take extra time to focus on your craft while your teammates are in class.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for that. I really appreciate you giving your perspective from what you went through and then now what your son is currently going through. I hadn't even taken that online perspective. And yeah, if you don't even have to show up in the classroom, but you want to visit with your teacher assistants and some other people, make sure that you're doing everything you need to be, that they're aware of you, and hey, if you're having some problems, get it fixed so that obviously the rest of your life is a long time. You get that 6 or 7 month window of time where you got to really focus on football, but everything else afterwards, that's equally important. So appreciate the look there. And for obvious reasons, it's something that's an important part of your son's life and so many others, young players. All right, again, Vanderbilt 9-2. They're on the road. They go to Tennessee. Tennessee's 8-3, and they are 4-3 in the conference. 3:30 at Neyland Stadium. Next game, we're going to talk about another 3:30 kick. This is where Missouri at 7-4 goes to Arkansas. Pig Suey, Vincent. Razorbacks are 2-9 overall. They still have yet to win a SEC conference game, but not be an easy match for Missouri. Missouri's kind of limping in, aren't they? They've had a couple of big losses recently where they were, in the middle of that top 25 at one point, but now they're clear out of it with the fourth loss that they have just last week.
No question about it. I still think the head coach Eli Dukowicz has done an outstanding job. He's probably going to be the second hottest coach that's going to be, I want to say, have his name out there after the season. They've had a decent year. I mean, they lost to Oklahoma. I predicted if they couldn't run the football, they was not going to beat the Sooners. And I'm on hard. They had, 57 yards coming off the 300-yard game. Now to my Arkansas Razorbacks. Texas, they hung in there. I came away very impressed with the true freshman quarterback in KJ Jackson. In his short time, coming in there in the third quarter, he was 16 to 29 for 206 yards. Mike Washington has been one of the unsung heroes at the running back position. Of course, a lot of people don't really recognize him because Arkansas is 2-8 on the year. But I can say this: even though Arkansas, regardless if they lose this football game or not, I'm kind of say I'm happy today because we got a new coach. He's coming from Florida. Tampa, don't get jealous, Hopper. Alex Goshen from South Florida, baby. Pig Suey back in the house. Big Red. Woo! Pig Suey Razorbacks. Dun, 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 dun. Back to you, Hopper LaBelle.
All right, Juan, they're 0-7 in the conference. They're on a 9-game losing streak. I don't know where he's coming from, but it's okay. Here's a neat thing about this, a little stat about Arkansas. They've scored 378 points. They've given up 375. They've actually with a 2-9 record, which tells me that when they win big, and when they lose, they don't lose by much. What do you see here happening for Missouri going to Razorback Stadium in Arkansas and getting a chance to play against Pig Suey and the Razorbacks?
I'll tell you what, expect Arkansas to give their all. This is basically an audition game. Right now, these kids are going to be auditioning to say, hey, we've got a brand new coach coming in. I want to stake my claim right here and say, hey, I belong on this football team. You don't have to go out in the portal and get 50 kids to come in here and replace us. I want to be here. I want to stay. So Missouri is going to get Arkansas's best, but even with their best, sometimes the best just isn't good enough. I see Missouri, even though they're limping into this game, I see them pulling out. This will be another high-scoring game, though. I do believe that this is going to be a high-scoring game, but I just see Missouri pulling this out. But the Arkansas players right now are playing for their future with their brand new coach coming in.
Yeah, interesting perspective there. I appreciate it, and a lot of that just rings so true. Missouri is a pretty good football team. They've had a couple of tight losses to some very, very competitive teams. If you looked at their schedule, you would say, man, how did they get through that? Well, they didn't unscathed, but they're still a very, very good football team. Obviously, they'll be going to a bowl game. And we were looking at two teams that might be able to go. Florida Gators are 3-8. They will not, but Florida State wins. This game is at Ben Hill Stadium. This is a 4:30 kick. Guys, this used to be one of the featured games of the year. This is on ESPN2. No disrespect to ESPN2, but it is, in terms of this specific game, this is not what everybody's going to be watching. But a 4:30 kick, 5-6 Florida State has a chance to go to a bowl game. Juan, I'll start with you. Your thoughts here on the Seminoles and the Gators.
This game right here is going to rival the South Carolina Clemson game. I mean, it's just lackluster. Just two teams that, you have a Florida State team that you come out and you beat Alabama and you think that you guys are going to be world beaters, and then for them to fall off is as bad as they did is just actually pretty bad. And then of course Florida Gators, they are still in search of their head coach. This will be one of those games that I will not be watching.
So what you're telling me is that if you're going to earn a lot of house credits and some brownie points to be able to watch some of the games, you don't need to do any extra chores for this one. This one will probably be one that you're going to give the remote to your wife and tell her to watch it, and then tell you to get the highlights from her. Is that fair?
We'll probably do like a Housewives of Atlanta or something like that. Just kind of take a break. I may even go down and make some sandwiches during this game, but not in a million years will I sit there and waste time on this.
You're not trading it out for a 3-hour Hallmark movie where the guy comes in from out of town and the single girl, the only single girl in town, ends up liking him, but he's got a checkered past.
Yes, exactly.
You have to watch that one. All right, you're a lucky man. Good for you. All right, Vincent, your thoughts here. Seminoles, Gators used to be something huge, not so much this year. It's almost like you want to save the batteries in your remote control for another game.
I think it's very sad, man, because just here recently, just seemed like yesterday, this game used to be the epitome of college football, man. National championship implications, great players playing in this game. The ball coach Steve Spurrier, of course, Dion Prime Time. You really, it's really amazing what the programs are at now. I guess the only thing I'm looking at this football game is Mike Norvell. Came from Memphis, got the job. He loses this game. I don't think he's going to survive either. Pink slip. And think about this. Look how Florida State lost that game a couple of weeks ago to North Carolina State. In the fourth quarter, just go back and look at that sequence when they had the punter made a punt, and North Carolina State punter punted, the ball bounces off a Florida State player, and the North Carolina State player recovers the fumble. They punter, they own punter. And think about this, gentlemen, especially both of y'all outstanding, talented gentlemen. When Florida State beat Alabama in the first game of the year, what were y'all thinking? The Noles are back.
Yeah,
Maybe they got national, maybe college football playoff aspirations. Hey, it's a weird year in college
yeah,
football, man.
no doubt,
Back to
no
you, Mr.
doubt,
LaBelle.
no doubt. I thought they were back, and it didn't take what 2-3 weeks for them to go. Oops, maybe they're not. Um, 5-6 Seminoles go to Ben Hill Stadium. 3-8 Florida Gators will be hosting them, and it's one of those great games that still means something, but not quite what it used to. But this game right here, um, Juan, I'm not even going to ask you what you think about this one. I know you got nothing on this one, so I will start with you, Vincent, and we will get your perspective. 9-2 Alabama. They're 6-1 in the conference against 5-6 Auburn. Auburn has a lot to fight for right here. And will this be one of those games that in 20 years from now, everybody's going to be doing the same thing, going, oh, let me show you another one of those great Auburn highlights against Alabama. We don't have a whole heck of a lot of them, but we've got some that are just precious and they mean everything to us. I'm thinking of that failed field goal return for a touchdown is one of the great moments in college football. Vincent, will there be one this week?
No question about it. When you talk about a game that means so much to a state, in a state that's divided, and all the history and all the great coaches and Brian and Jordan and so many great plays have been made in this game. And I'm gonna say this: before we came on this evening, I had a moment of quietness, and I said a prayer. I said, God, this has got to be a dream that I got two talented guys that's joining me on this show. But one of these guys, his son is going to be starting at quarterback. I don't want nobody out there to get jealous, but it just well, I got to state the facts. He's going to be starting in the biggest game of the day, the Iron Bowl, with so much that's going to be meant here. Alabama, Ty Simpson, you got a chance to still get back in the Heisman talk.
Yep.
You got to win this game and you got to perform in the SC championship game. But I'm gonna be honest. This is going to be a real tough football game because Auburn got a different monster under the center. As I mentioned to you on the college football show, Harper, a lot of people don't remember last time out for Mr. Daniels. 353 yards, two touchdowns, 70% completion rate in the overtime game against Vanderbilt. So roll tide, you better get your chin straps rolled up because it's going to be an exciting football game, man. Don't go nowhere. The ratings are going to be high. I don't know what other sport going to be going on, but all eyes are going to be on the hill and Jordan Hare. And I wish I had a ticket to the game. I'm not gonna lie, I'm be jealous of one. And then your baby playing in the game. Oh my God. So many talent, so many NFL players, there's so many NFL scouts. The game of the day. And as me and Harper said, and all no disrespect to my fans down there, well, to my people in Tuscaloosa. What's the song we said, Harper? If Alabama loses this game, moving on up, but you're gonna moving out.
They're moving
Kill your
down. They're
boy.
moving on down. Hey,
Go.
before I go to Juan, Vincent, real quick, some of the things that you mentioned about Ashton that impressed you, not just the numbers, but the way he ran the offense and the way
Yes,
that
sir.
the offense kind of clicked around him. I'm going to dump it off to this guy right here in the flat and get
Hmm.
the first down. I'm going to go try it right down the middle. And if it doesn't work, okay, I'm going to get you next time. Little things that you say in the huddle. He took a week off, though, because of the eligibility factor and all that for him to be able to return. He did not play last week. Does that become at least a little bit of a factor early on if he's struggling and he starts throwing the balls and he's a little high and to the right? Um, what are your thoughts in terms of playing in the best game that you have all season and then having to sit a week before you get to go against the number 8 team in the country?
I think what you're looking at is a young man. When the team looks at him under the center, Harper, look at how the energy that team was against Vanderbilt. I don't think it's going to be no problem. This team rallies around Ashton Daniels. Remember that I saw players playing at a level when he was against Vanderbilt. The defense was at the energy. The offense was at the energy. No disrespect to one, but the offense struggled all year. And when he got in there, Cam Coleman, now we start talking about him being a high NFL draft pick. Remember this about Ashton Daniels, and I said this early on. I saw the young man play what was a year before last against Colorado on the Friday night game against Stanford, against Shadua Sanders, and against Travis Hunter. And I can't remember the receiver name. Mr. Daniels is going to give us the receiver now. I keep forgetting his name. It's with the Titans right now. And Ashton ate Travis Daniels alive, like good barbecue in Memphis. And I think Ashton had like 400 yards that game. And when he transferred to Auburn as a grad transfer student, I said, man, you know what? They got a hell of a football player. And to be honest, let's be real here. I don't think it's going to be no problem. He going to be up for that football game because you want to know why? We got his father right here who was that type of player at Georgia. So the thing I'm worried about, Hop, is Alabama. This is the biggest game for them, and really it's a critical game for Caleb DeBoer because they could easily lose this football game, and I think it's going to be high scoring. It's going to be high energy every play.
Juan, you've got skin in the game here for obvious reasons. What are your thoughts here? First of all, let's talk about the seriousness of taking on. I said they were number 8. They're the number 10 team in the country. They're going to be a little bit hungry. They're going to be a little nastier than they probably have been, especially knowing that they've got to win this game in order to guarantee their spot in the playoff.
Yeah, they have so much that they're playing for right now. Not only will they have an opportunity to make the college football playoffs, but also play in the SEC championship. So that's going to be something that's going to help them out and bolster their future. And, you know, it's the biggest rivalry. This is the biggest game. There are going to be so many teams in the nation that's going to be rooting against Alabama. If they don't make the college football playoffs, that's you know, another ACC team, possibly another Big 12 team, another G5 team that's going to have an opportunity. So they've got a lot of pressure riding on them. The last couple of games, they have not played very well. Ty Simpson has not played very well. But again, look for him to be focused. Look for him to come back and play. Another statistic, too, is this is going to be the very first time that Ashton and Ty Simpson are going to be starting in the Iron Bowl. So the magnitude of the Iron Bowl is just out of this world. And what it's going to come down to, I think Alabama has a great defense. Auburn has a great defense. Offensively, who's going to make, you know, 1 or 2 more plays, but it also is going to come down to the kicking game. Auburn has Alex McPherson as a college kicker who's been fantastic. Unfortunately for Bama, Talty, their kicker, has not been great as of late. So is it, you know, will it come down to one of those two making that really big time key play? Also, too, you got to look at Alabama's receivers, outstanding. You got Jeremy Bernard. You've got Ryan Williams. He's outstanding. Who's going to be that third receiver or that third player that's going to be able to step up and make a play? For Auburn, you have Cam Coleman. You have Eric Singleton, who are outstanding. Who's going to be that third receiver or possibly tight end that's going to be able to take the pressure off of those guys and make big plays? So that's what it's going to come down to.
Yeah. All right. Now talk a little bit. I know you hit Alabama real hard. Just talk about Toomer's Corner and some of the really cool things that Auburn has had that you've been impressed with just from a college football, the atmosphere. The stadium is gorgeous. What is it, 85,000, give or take? That's it. You know, it's not intimidating in a way that other stadiums are, but just the value for you of being able to go there, and the fact that if you get a chance to win this game, there's not going to be a goalpost within 100 miles that's going to stay up. I just don't see it, right? The way that those fans can pull behind this team and propel them for a number of different reasons, bowl games, recruiting aspect, next year, and everything that would be on the ramp going up. Just to share a little bit about that, if you don't mind.
One of the things about Auburn, the Auburn fans, is they love their football. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And just the atmosphere, Toomer's Corner is just, it's an amazing event that takes place. The Tiger Walk is very, very special. For them to just go down there and make that little trek to the stadium is unbelievable. Inside the stadium, you've got the big, huge jumbotrons that everybody's looking at. You've got the eagle that flies out right before the game. I mean, it's electrifying. And then the fans just scream from the time that the coin is tossed up. So it is electrifying. they do their little swag and surf at the beginning of the fourth quarter. I mean, everybody's in it until, again, the time that the ball is kicked off until the very end. It is the most amazing college environment that I've ever been a part of or ever seen. I thought Georgia has a great one. I think that even Oregon has an excellent college football environment. Tennessee, Arkansas had a really good football environment, but this right here, hands down, and I'm not trying to be biased because my kid goes there, but it truly is an amazing atmosphere.
It's impressive because it's impressive. That's the thing. And have you been to the Big House or the Horseshoe or the Coliseum or anything? I mean, just the amount of energy that is there. It is comparable to some of the other places, and we're talking about a 5-6 team. Can you imagine if they were 9-2 right now, or if they were 10-1?
Oh well, if they had an opportunity to go and have an opportunity for a college football playoff or even the SEC championship, you would probably have a couple of members of that team right there, being nominated for like the president of the United States or something. That's how passionate they are about their team and their football. And one of the things that drew us and Drew Ashton there is they showed us a clip last year when they beat Texas A&M in overtime, and just the noise, the crowd. I mean, everything seemed like the stadium was coming apart, crumbling because they were so loud, and they were 4-6 at the time.
Yeah.
So to your point, imagine what they would be if they were 9-2, 10-1 right now.
Yeah, it's fascinating, and that's part of the reason that people love college football so much is you don't have the same energy, even close to it, at the pro level. You've got great energy, don't get me wrong, but it's completely different. Guys, before we go, I'm going to read off the teams that are in the playoff right now. As of Week 14, Tulane, Texas Tech, Notre Dame, Oklahoma, Miami, Oregon, Alabama, and Ole Miss are all playing in the first week. The bye week would be for Georgia, Ohio State, Texas A&M, and Indiana. I know I'm putting you on the spot here. Vincent, very quickly, is there a upset here where you think there might be a change, where Tulane might be replaced, or Texas Tech, Miami, for example, Oregon? Is there any team that's in this right now that you're going, I'm not so sure how this is going to turn out because I think blank, maybe Tennessee, blank, maybe Vanderbilt, maybe another team might be in replacement of one that if they don't play well, it could be a long week for them?
The only team right now I can think of right now in my mind, because I haven't really thought of any other teams since the game we just got through talking about. Alabama doesn't win that football game, they doesn't get in, and then the Bloombergs, the Flowers, the moving trucks. Caleb DeBoer is going to be must hear to talk about Caleb DeBoer on Monday morning in the state of Alabama concerning the University of Alabama fans. It's going to be at a level that I've never seen before. I think this is the most pressure game of his coaching career, even from last year, because following Nick Saban, that's a job within itself. I got a lot of respect for him following him, but let's don't make a mistake here. The people in Tuscaloosa, they think of one thing: championships. Back to you, Hawk.
Well, there are three SEC teams, actually four, excuse me. There's four SEC: Oklahoma, Ole Miss, Alabama, and Georgia. I'm sorry, five in Texas A&M. Well represented there. Juan, any surprises for you? Does Tulane, if they lose, or if Texas Tech, Notre Dame, Miami, Oregon, what are your thoughts here on the stability of the teams that are in it right now?
I mean, I think that it's good. The sleeper for me is going to be Tulane. They're going to be playing lights out with John Summerall. Of course, John Summerall is rumored to come to Auburn. So I really feel like they're going to be playing with a chip on their shoulder. And if there's going to be an upset, I think Tulane's probably going to be that team that's going to maybe just upset somebody. So, be on the lookout for that.
Okay. Well, speaking of being on the lookout, folks, if there's a game that you can't find, we don't know how we can help you, but we tried to give some great advice about how you earn the brownie points that you would need between Friday's three games between Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Georgia, and Georgia Tech, Texas A&M at Texas from 12 o'clock to 7:30. Those kickoff times, you've got from noon to almost midnight of great football that you can watch there. Kentucky and Louisville, Clemson, South Carolina will be at noon on Saturday, at 3:30 on Saturday. LSU in Oklahoma. You've got Vanderbilt at Tennessee, and then Missouri at Arkansas. Later on in the afternoon at 4:30, Florida State in Florida. And at 7:30 from Jordan-Hare Stadium there, Juan will be at the game personally. He'll be signing autographs at halftime, and he only wants $1 a piece to get enough gas money to be able to get back.
Exactly.
Alabama Crimson Tide will be taking on his Auburn Tigers. So what a great weekend. Guys, final thoughts. Vincent, we'll start with you.
Outstanding football weekend coming up. You gentlemen be safe and enjoy the weekend with your families. Hey, it doesn't get any better. And as I said before, um, don't get upset, Hop. But even though you might not like it, I'm glad that the Razorbacks have got Alex Golston come from South Florida, baby. The Hogs are coming back. Even though you made a comment, Hop, when we 0-7 in the SEC, hey, next year it's looking up brightly. Thank you. Back to you, Hop.
There you go. Always looking ahead, out at the horizon. Juan, final thoughts from you here on rivalry week and one of the biggest ones that we've had in a long time.
What a great rivalry week. I mean, this right here is for playoff implications. There's so many games that are for SEC championship implications, playoff implications. This is a true separation Friday and Saturday. So, and I tell you what, just being thankful, happy Thanksgiving to you two. And I'm so thankful for great football. What a great weekend. And just being a part of the SEC is just unreal.
Yep. Have your faith, your football, and your family in whatever order that you want to put them in, especially on rivalry week.
Yes.
It's always important, but happy Thanksgiving to everybody. We appreciate you tuning in. We really do. And we're grateful and thankful for you. And tell a friend. Please be a part of the SEC show by tuning in every week. We certainly enjoyed it. For now, the 14 weeks, we've been going back to back to back to back and talking about the games that lead up to exactly where we are right now. So we appreciate it, and we hope that you do as well. It'll be a lot of fun. Earn those brownie points. Happy Thanksgiving. Have a great weekend from Friday to Saturday late in the evening, probably around 11 or 12 o'clock. If you can't find a football game to watch, come on over to our house because there'll be plenty that you can be a part of. So thank you. For Vincent Turner, for Juan Daniels, I'm Harper LaBelle saying thank you for tuning in to the SEC Preview Show, all a part of 100 Yards of Football. We hope you have a fantastic